From East Point to Charlotte, y'all better know that.
Neo 420 Talks, the podcast, talking all things cannabis and some other things.
Getting into the cannabis, I think it's important to find a doctor or someone who's practicing in the medical field to go, this is the best one for you.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's pain, you know, because I have chronic pain also, and that helps with the chronic pain of, it doesn't make it go away, doesn't cure it, but it's a lot better than pain meds that the VA wants to give out, or the ibuprofen that it's like, it feels better in my body.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I loved what you said about PTSD is not curable, but it is manageable. I mean, that is something that is 100%, proven with medical journals, with medical treatment now. And, we all had PTSD patients in general have a very difficult time getting out of our own headspace. Like, we have a difficulty in processing things because the emotional attachment that's kind of interrupting or blocking, the trauma that created that emotional interruption. And you're so right, with management, you can live with it. You can go day to day, you can do those things. As you were describing it definitely, I have to ask, if there was anything specific that you found that does actually help you, just from the PTSD side, and then we can, get further in depth as far as your chronic pain, as far as different strains. Are you starting to recognize different strains and their qualities for you?
Yeah, I have a kind of a heightened sense of awareness now, and I can have a lot of anxiety. So, there's sativas and indicas. I always thought, well, I need energy. So I was smoking a lot of sativas, and that's kind of mind altering. It kind of heightens the mind awareness. And when your mind awareness is about your pain or PTSD, you really don't want to heighten that part of it. So I kind of turn to indicas. And indicas are a really nice way that I could function, I could be out, I could do things around the house. It's like, when you go to a dispensary, you'll say, like, I want to clean the house, and they'll instantly turn you over to the sativas, and you got to know your body and know what's good for you,
For sure.
And so I'll do a little sativa once in a while, but it's like, I got to look at the THC level, and anything with a fair amount of CBD is really helpful. That'll really help with the pain, and I think it helps with PTSD too, the CBD side.
Yeah.
It's a medication. It's medication, and you can use it with your antidepressants. It's not going to mess that up. I think it's just being aware of your own. If a doctor gave you a pill and said, "Here, take these," and you took them and it doesn't feel good, you would say, "This doesn't work for me." So
right.
It's important to be aware, have body awareness, and just try it out.
Well, that's so great that you had, those opportunities in order to look at this PTSD management type of medicine, because there's a lot of people within the service departments that are either active, retired, or discharged, that are in states where there's just not an option for cannabis treatment. And that's one thing. I can guess what your opinion is about that we need to allow them to have treatment. One thing that we push for here at Neo 420 is equal access. I mean, you'll hear me say that a lot of times on our interviews and talks, but equal access is imperative, because we've had so many people that have had to move and change their entire lives just in order to get to a place where they can have an option and to go and purchase the medicine through a legal retail facility that has material that's been tested, that has no pesticides, that has no molds, and all of these things are critically important to having quality medicine. So whenever you started utilizing cannabis and starting identifying with your body and how your physiological uptake of that medicine was, do you mind to tell me like where you're at now? Are you still utilizing cannabis as medicine?
Yes, and it's funny because I was doing it when I first started out. I was doing it throughout the whole day, and now it's kind of an evening thing for me. It's almost like a glass of wine.
Yeah.
To relax at the end of the day. You have pressures, you have stress, or you just want to relax. It's kind of a nice way to pack a bowl and relax. And there's been times that I've been very stressed or anxiety, and I'll go home and smoke a bowl and be able to unwind and not focus on that stress and just let it go. And there's a mentality with cannabis with a lot of people too that that wacky weed and and there's kind of a reputation. I think if anyone wants to try it, they should try just a CBD side of it. That doesn't get you high.
Right.
That just tries the CBD side. That's legal in all states, right? CBD
That's right.
is. Yeah.
It is.
So,
yes.
You can get it and try it out, and and I hear a lot of people, well, I work for the government or something like that, and it's risky. You don't want to lose your job for it, but that hurdle needs to be we need to get rid of that hurdle so people can at least have a choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's funny when you buy weed in Portland, they give you a warning little card that says cannabis can be dangerous to children. If they eat it, ingest it, or anything like that, they can be really sick.
Right.
And it's like, they can be really sick. There's no danger that it could kill them. Call a poison control. I think they do have poison control on it, but it just makes them really sick. It's like, if that's the warning label for children, it's like we as adults can go, okay, I can try a little bit, and check it out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think it's important, and it's not for everybody. But if you're self-medicating with alcohol or something like that, or with pain meds, this is the choice. This is the safe choice to do it.
You're so right. I mean, we have we have an opioid epidemic happening in this country, and it is civilians, it's military personnel, it's a little bit of everybody that these doctors are really over-prescribing opioids. And it's inevitable that when someone gets 2 or 3 bottles of these opioids and they hear somebody else needing them, then it develops into something else. It develops into pass along. And then you've got somebody else with opioids. And that stuff is super addictive. It's killed a lot of people. I've said on other interviews that, the reason President Trump is so interested about fighting opioids is because his brother was killed by them. So there's a lot of interest right now in trying to facilitate a safe solution to all this need of medical patients within the United States. I was just talking to someone over in Georgia the end of last week, and I was posed the question, will CBD make me test positive on a urine test? And I said no. The urine tests are always testing for the tetrahydrocannabinol, the THC. So CBD should not make you test hot. That's the best of my knowledge. If anybody's out there and has had any other experience, please contact us. I would love to know about that. But there are safe options for us, like you detailed, and I appreciate you so much saying that about cannabis being the safe option between, if you were given the choice of opioids alcohol or cannabis. Have you tried have you talked to other service members that you served with about your experience with this? I'm curious I'm sure I know that other people have had similar needs as far as suffering from PTSD, depression, etc. from returning from service. Have you talked to other service members about your experience?
Yeah, and some of them are already doing it, and some of them are kind of hesitant about it.
Is that right?
And there's a lot of disabled vets, and that I know, and we dream of working again. We do. We dream of working again, and hopefully that happens. And I think with that sign of that's a piss test, and that's going to come up. A lot of people resist it still, but there's a lot of members that are smoking pot now.
That's really good. I mean, that is a safer alternative. If they need treatment, cannabis is the way to go. So whenever you look at, I know you as a person, and I believe that you have probably considered, the national policy as far as what could really help. Let's just stick with what you're a U.S. citizen first and foremost. So from your standpoint, what would help as far as the U.S. citizenry and really evolving this plan? Do you think cannabis should be decriminalized nationally? Oh yeah,
I mean it's ridiculous that there's people in prison for cannabis, and and it shouldn't be something that we avoid. It's funny because I was talking to someone that had a lot of pain, and they're a construction worker, and I said, do you do cannabis? And she actually said, no, I can't do cannabis because it turns up in a piss test. And she goes, I could do meth, I could do crack, I could do speed, I could do cocaine, I could do ice. Those won't show up on a piss test. 24 hours, they're gone.
Right.
So I could do all those things, go to work, and be okay. I could drink a whole bunch of alcohol and be okay and go to work. But with cannabis, that is totally safe, you can't do it. And,
No.
And I don't think that has to do with the people. I think the people really want it to be legalized. I think this is a government thing. It's like, it's like your mom saying you can't play with this because they're dangerous. And then all those years and years, and you find out they really weren't dangerous. And it's like, well, I told you not to play with it.
And mom never tells you why.
Yeah, that's right.
You just ask mom, why can I play with it? She says, because I said no,
right.
You're not going to play with it.
Yeah.
That's like the government, you know. We want it legal. We're creating it in different states. We're wanting it there. And then we even vote for it. And the Fed still acts like mom. You're not going to have it. Not on the federal level yet.
I think we should all do, as citizens, just do a big smoke out. And then just go, fire us all then.
Right.
What can they do?
Yeah, who are they going to hire then?
Who are you going to hire then? And it's like, watch, we'll do our job, we'll do this, and just watch us. Because the resistance is the government. I'm sure there's a few people out there, I've talked to people that said, it's not my thing. Okay.
From East Point to Charlotte, y'all better know that.
Neo 420 Talks, the podcast. Talking all things cannabis and some other things.